Good morning, the QDB risk calculation for Wednesday, the 9th of August. I had to check the date then. So basically, the herd are net short. So we have to remember there's 11 people trying to short indices versus the one person buying. We have come off extremes. We were minus 20. We're now minus 11, as you can see. So what I've done is reset the risk calculation, the technicals, and that's based on all these instruments here. And so we basically froze it at 33. So any increase or decrease from 33 will be our difference across time. So over 50, I would say technically risk on. So we might do it. You note that they really crossed the VIX. Well, actually, I say that it really pumped like 13% yesterday, but then they got hammered down. So we are up slightly. So whether or not it continues to get hammered down, it probably will. We'll have to wait and see. So that will take into account the VIX is heavily weighted there. So if it does move up or down, we'll know on the technical risk calculations. QDB scores. That's how we're looking. Pound CAD and then CAD Swiss. And we've got a new column here to say potential reversal. That's looking at this. If we're really extreme, there isn't any more sentimental motive to push price, because basically it's just hounded the retail guys so much is that it's probably going to have to reverse. I've never seen anything get to 100% before, because it just would be completely unnatural. No, Euro USD's there, but we've got a positive score, so we might see that increase in its score change. It's had a free increase, so it's okay. Aussie has come off its lows, 0.23%. So we'll have to wait and see how we go. So, and also just lastly about the sheet, we've got a new look-in search tool, so we can just go through, and we've got a gauge here. So what it does, it gives us a bias and stuff, which is quite cool. Dollar Swiss, we were quite bullish, and now we obviously ticked down a little bit on the scores. I think we were probably about 8, I think, yesterday, and this is how we can use that. So it'll be quite cool. So yeah, there's just stuff that maybe it's useful. Got a gauge there. And it goes up to 11, which is a bit like Spinal Tap as well, but it's just the way it worked out. It's just scored out of 11. So say pound USD has got extremely bullish. Well, below the 50% mark as well, to make it a buy at the big picture. But we have got got CPI tomorrow, so it's probably gonna. Everything might be pumping in order to short, in order to get a good nice price to sell, and then it will come down. So we've got to be careful tomorrow. I think it's probably today could be a bit of a fake day, and tomorrow will be like the real move tomorrow. So let's show you the IDP. Okay, and gold. Well, they've sold it, so we can create a box. Hopefully, it allowed me to draw a box, because it was going so slowly I couldn't draw a box, which is rubbish. Oh, maybe that's going to work. I don't know. Yeah, snap to nearest. That's fine. Here. So 1929, 1924. So that would be your stop loss. Okay. Then you can just do a screenshot or pause the video, and then if you want to get those levels. But that should be a support, because they've sold it. If they continue to sell it, up will come. And I might even take this, I'm not sure. I mean, it's quite a cheap stop, isn't it? So I could do a tiny size. So there we go. Like 1923.5 maybe stop loss. S&P. And yeah, they sold it. And of course we made a buy here. Oh, excuse me. And then move to a box, so that's the support. So we might come back into dip into that, and that'll to coincide with the 4,500, and they'll be like, oh well, we're definitely bearish, and we're going to really sell it. And it looks like they are selling it. They're believing this spike, so that's cool. And so it looks like we're going to do this. We like that, make a nice move. So as long as they continue to sell it, that's fine. And it looks like we'll come into that support. It's psychological round number as well. But you have to remember, there's quite a lot of fundamental stuff out there. It's quite bearish. The Chinese data was absolutely terrible. So it might be fundamentally driven moves. So we can't just purely rely on this. We have to remember the fundamentals in play. Sentimentally, it would be a buy in this box, but fundamentally, perhaps not. So you've got to be careful. And withdraw box on this, not S&P, US 5. Hang on, it was fairly added. It's just slow, isn't it? It's so slow. Oh god. Rectangle, yeah. It's just gonna be difficult to map again. This one, I think. No, it's this one. Yeah, this is gonna be a support. So we're gonna come back into that support. See? And we should be a buy within that box, but it will depend what happens here. So that's fine. That's going to be a buy in this box. Okay, DAX. And then quickly look at the robot. So that's fine-ish. They'd sold it, we'd come up. So this has been a bit naughty, but it's okay. And it's worth mentioning that the US yields, were really mixed all week, so it's probably going to be a bit of a choppy affair, really. It's very thin, very, very thin support there. So we're going to probably come down and test it. It might break because it's quite thin, like you can see. I'll show you the robot now. So basically, just to highlight the summary is that we should be coming up on indices because they've sold them. Okay, but we've got to remember the fundamental stuff is actually quite ugly. Robot. So this is how we are. So we're looking for Kiwi strength, and also looking to sell the Euro USD, but we never got to TP. So we've got a trailing stop of 20 pips. We won. We didn't get there. So we opened at 109.40. We're at 109.74. So we needed to get to 109.20 in order for the trailing stop to trigger. So this might result in a loss. We'll have to wait and see. And it's probably going to fluctuate for the CPI, and we might be out at TP or SL. It's quite an unknown variable, but what we do definitely need to have risk management in place. And just to talk about the robot quickly is that we won't have the repetition like we saw here. That won't happen again because we've got a duplication check in place. So if these result in profit, that's fine. If they result in loss, that's also fine. But we just won't get repetition. And if these go into profit, perhaps we didn't need the duplication check, but by having one, we can look at just increasing the lot size since we're only getting the one trade. And that's just today's bulletin. And I'm going to be off today for a walk because I've not done any exercise in ages. I basically sat at home in front of my computer. It's really unhealthy. So I'm going to go for a walk and be back in the afternoon, maybe mid-afternoon, late afternoon. So probably back about 1 or 2 o'clock, I guess. So hopefully you like the new search tool. Took me a little while. Looks a bit better. And remember that anyone can use it. If you don't have access to this, then let me know. And the Patreon is patreon.com /QDB. And that's how you can get access to the sheet. But you have to join at the premium tier or the FX SSI QDB tier. And then you can join and get the sheet access. So it's very good value for money. You get a lot of stuff. Not only the sheet, but Discord as well. And we completely called the move on the S&P yesterday. And that's it. So trade safely. I'll speak to you guys soon.